Hello geeks, how are you doing today? Welcome to the Learning SQL series using MySQL, and the topic of today's video is numeric data types. Since this is first in a long series of video, we will talk about some of the basic things like what are tables, how to create them, and then using numeric data types. So let's first start with tables. What are tables? Table consists of rows and columns, and the first thing we need to decide when we create a table is column, which is the structure or building block of the table, and then we talk about rows, which contains the data. Now when we talk about column, they remain relatively static. That means we don't change it on a regular basis, while the data is something which is being changed, added or modified quite often. So it's very dynamic in nature, but this is the data that creates the records of a table. Now before creating table, we need to decide upon column header, the structure, and this is where the data type comes into picture, because each column header will have a data type. Once we have data type, we create column constraints. So when we talk about data type, some of the data type could be int, float, text, JSON, just to name a few. And when we talk about column constraint, it can be null, unique, primary key, again just to name a few. So this video is all about numeric data types, where we say what are the numeric data types and how we can use them properly. Let's start with integer types. So if we go ahead and see the MySQL developer documentation, it has a very good table which talks about tiny int, small int, medium int, and big int. The integer data type is capable of storing 1 byte storage to 8 byte storage based on our requirement. Let's see how we can make use of them. To demonstrate the creation of table and usage of data type, let me log on to my SQL database, and I'll use a database called test to learn about this, and it has no tables as of now, so there is empty tables. So let me create a table. We'll create a table using the syntax called create table, table name, and the first data type we are interested in called tiny int. So we will name the column as tint, type as tiny int, and that's all. That's the way my table is created. And if we describe the table learn, it will show as tiny 4. What is tiny? Tiny 1 byte data. 1 byte data means it can take minus 128 to plus 127. So let's insert some value. So I'll say insert into learn my table name values. If you want to insert value to all the columns, you don't need to give column name in SQL. So values will be, let's say, 100. And let me print the value. Select star from learn. It shows 100. What about minus 100? Let's say it says minus 100. What about 125? It also added 125. But what if I add something more than 127? Let's say 255. The operation is successful, but it is showing one warning. So if you you will say show warnings. It will show you the warning. It's a out of range value column for tint, but it actually managed to insert it. What it inserted is 127. So no matter what I do, it will always insert the last or highest known value for that particular column. So if we again describe the table, it's a tint 4 means 4 is the display number of items to display. With minus sign it can display 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. But tiny int, the value of tiny int is not beyond minus 128 to plus 127. Now let me change it to a small int. So I'll say alter table learn change column. Which column we want to change? We have just one column, tint as tint small int. It's done. So if we again describe this thing, you can say that it is now a small int with a length of 6. So a small int is 32,767. Let me say the data again. Okay, so if you want to drop all the data that is already available, you can say truncate learn. Sorry, spelling mistake, truncate. Okay, now all the data is deleted. Now I can insert into this. Let's say I am inserting into this as uh, 30,000, and it inserted 30,000. So let me insert 32,000. It will insert 32,000. But what if I insert 3,20,000? It is okay again, but it inserts the highest possible value and it shows the warning, same warning. Let me insert it again and let me show warnings. You can see out of range warning is there. Similarly, for medium uh, int and big int, we can do it in the same way. Now let's talk about floating point and fixed point. So both floating point and fixed point talks about numbers with decimal values. So both of them talks about numbers with decimal values but with a different context. Floating point is all about approximate value while fixed point is all about exact value. Approximate means if we have let's say 45.59, we'll round it to 45.60, and this is not possible with the fixed point. So if you talk about floating point, there are two data types, float and double. In the fixed point we have decimal and numeric, both are actually same. So let's see how to make use of it. Okay, so now we will talk about floating point with float, double and decimal. So let me drop this table so that I can create a table again. Drop table learn. So that table will be deleted with this command. Now let me create a table learn again with three items: tfn as float, tdl as double, and tds as decimal. In decimal we have to specify the precision, so it can specify up to 60 and 30. So total length of the number could be 60 and out of that 30 could be a decimal place. And that's all. I create a table and table is created. So if I describe the table learn, you can see that float, double, decimal, everything is there. Let's insert some values. Insert into learn values. Let's say 1.123456789 all are decimal, so I can repeat the same 123456789 again 1.123456789. Okay, it's successfully inserted, and let me just print it. Select star from learn. Now you can see that float has truncated after uh, 1 2 3 4 5 decimal digits, but double has truncated after 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 digit. Okay, it doesn't truncate it, it looks like it can go bit more, but decimal has too many things. Okay, so now let's just increase it again. We know that, I mean, float will not take more than 5. Let's repeat it here: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, and again here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Okay, now let's print it. You can see that it has printed till 8. So basically double precision takes more decimal value than single precision of float, and decimal takes much more than this. Now there is one more difference. The rounding can happen with this double and float. Rounding can happen, but it cannot happen with decimal. So that's all about float, double and decimal. There is another data type called bit value type. As you can guess from the name that it is meant for storing the bit value, and we can define the number of bits that it will hold. Now let's talk about bit type. So for understanding bit type, let me again drop the table LAN so that can create the table again. So create table again LAN, and I say B field. as bit, number of bit, let's say 8. My table is created. Let me describe the table as learn. Okay, now it has a bit of 8. So we can say insert into learn values. We can insert the value as with b as bit and 00001111. It's a 8-bit value. Now let me just select start. You will not be able to see here because it is not printing the special character, because it prints in character, but if you print it in a number you will get that. So that's the way bit field is there. For example, we know that small a ASCII value is 97. So let me put the binary equivalent of 97, which will be 11000001. So it should be 8 like this, 011000001. Okay, now let's print. You can see that a is being printed. That's the way bit field is being created and handled. Okay, till now we have seen that if we overflow the value while putting the value in tiny int or short or any other place, it just ignore that particular limit of the data type and it just stores the maximum possible value available with the data type. This is a bit misleading because from our perspective the operation is successful, but it actually inserted the wrong value. So SQL strict mode allow us to prevent this, because in this particular case it will give us a error that it cannot insert a value because it's going beyond the range. And let's see how we can use this SQL strict mode. Now let's talk about the strict mode. Let me drop the table again. I've dropped the table. Let me create a table again. Create table learn. I will again create it with tiny int. Tint as column name, tiny int as type. Okay. If I describe the table learn, you'll see it's tiny int. Now insert something into table. So tiny int will not take more than 127. So let's say if I do add 125, and if I just go ahead and print it, let me try to insert 255 again, and you can see that it's the highest possible value that is there. To make sure that SQL gives me an error, I have to change the mode to strict mode. So I'll have to say set SQL mode equal to what we call it traditional. It's SQL modes, not SQL mode. It's traditional. Now let me try to do the same thing again. It says out of range value, it cannot insert. So if you go ahead and print it, it has not inserted. It will always give me an error. But if you want to go back to original mode, non-strict mode, so we'll say set SQL underscore mode equal to empty string 10, and now if you do this it will be inserted, and you can see while printing it. So that's all about using basic numeric type. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe for getting regular updates on new videos.